over. And now ladies and gentlemen, we're going to make some noise. Put your hands together for the team Solent Kestrels. Starting with number 2, Patrick Daisy. 3, Justin Bessard. 4, Team Carmichael. Number 5, Ralston. 7, Sam O'Connell. Number 9, Greg Ryan. 11, Kai Walker. Number 12, Elias Koiwo. 21, Josh Smith-White. 22, Ricky Madison. Number 13, but unfortunately, James Carvalho. Team Solent Kestrels.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Solent Sports Complex for Game 2 of the NBL Live doubleheader. We just saw the Solent Kestrels defeat the Brent Bulls in WNBL 1 action. Now it's the turn of the men as they face the Manchester Magic. John Hobbs alongside Chris Hughes, and we are joined by Anna Neverson, who coming off a really strong performance against the Brent Bulls today. Anna, welcome. A tough game for you guys, but you got the W and a statement of intent against your top-of-the-table rivals.
Yeah, I mean, we've been looking for that all week, really. Looking forward to the game more than anything. And just to prove that after last week's loss in the National Cup, that we can come back and still compete for that top of the table was really important. And it was a really good team win and really good contribution by everyone today.
Absolutely, and a great win for you guys. And now you get to just relax a little bit. Get to watch some NBL basketball as we watch two teams looking to gain some momentum here in NBL Div 1. Solent with just the one win so far this season. Manchester still looking for their first win. Chris, Manchester come into this with, you could say nothing to lose, but for them, it's they want to gain some momentum.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, I'm not looking at league table at Manchester, because if you look at who they played all the top 4 or 5 teams. So maybe they would really expect those tough games. And actually, some of them quite close in those losses. So I think this is going to be a real litmus test of both sides, who are at the moment at the wrong end of the table and looking up rather than looking down. Absolutely.
And for Manchester, Anna, no Greg Wild, a player obviously you know very well. He's still out. No Mo Shago. So they're running with 10 people still today, and Peter Paraskeva, the head coach, saying that despite difficulties getting here, I mean, goodness gracious, when you're on the living near the M6, you're always going to have issues getting down to the south coast, but nonetheless, they're here and they are ready to play, and there's a good buzz within the team, Peter was telling me earlier.
I think this is going to be a really close game when you're looking at, again, both teams looking up the table rather than down, and I think it's going to be a really good matchup and a really exciting game today, even with, like you say, those 2 players missing. It's a shame Greg's still out. I mean, been nice to see him down at the SSC doing what he does best, really.
Absolutely. And for Solent, Chris, of course, they're Americans. Solent's Americans, Ricky Madison and Justin Bessard in the team. They obviously now had a chance to get adjusted to the National Basketball League a little bit. Of course, they had a few weeks where they couldn't play due to visa issues. Now they're in the squad. How do you think they have adjusted and settled into the roster?
Yeah, I think even though haven't played on the NBA, actually they've been playing Bucks. A lot of these guys play for Bucks, or the Itchy would just say there's no Itchy guys out there, but they know the Bucks guys well, and they're not chemistry already. I'm really interested to see how Bessard bounced back. He had a really tough game last time here. He got 4 fouls and only played about 4 or 5 minutes. So here we're looking at Ricky Madison, so really struggled on the defense end, and really had to rely on Madison, that sort of low post area. It was their only go-to weapon against a really strong Fields of Bradford side that afternoon. So both will be feeling the hurt of that overtime loss. Overtime loss to Loughborough, an epic game. But yeah, no, they've settled in well, but they're looking to lead today rather than sort of put off squad as is the last of the games.
Absolutely. And as we enter the final 2 minutes before tip-off, Anna, we spoke about, me and Chris spoke about this earlier on in the broadcast when you guys were playing Brent, but the WBBL trophy first round was announced on Friday, and of course Brent Bulls will be taking on their local rivals, the London Lions, in an absolutely mouth-watering all-London clash. Cola Suffolk Pride will be going up to Manchester, a venue that they know very well, to play the Manchester Met Mystics. In fact, actually, excuse me, it'll be a neutral venue, my apologies, but they'll be travelling to Essex to play the Met Mystics. The Sheffield Hatters will take on Ipswich in another fantastic encounter, and of course the Caledonia Gladiators and Thames Valley will go at it. What do you make of that draw and the ramifications for it?
I think that the London game will be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
As you saw today, even with the third quarter that we have, Brent didn't give up to the final buzzer went, and I think that is something that you will see against the London Lions. We know London Lions are stacked, but I think there'll be maybe it's something different for them to be thrown out of. That kind of physicality they might replicate something they've had in Europe. And I see teams like Thames Valley doing the same thing, just giving their all against those WBL teams, trying to put NBL D1 on the map.
And talk about Essex, Anna, the NBL D1, WNBL headed east that weekend. What's it been like playing for that Essex crowd?
I mean, I know a few of the Essex girls really well. We're a bit jealous of their new locker room as well. Everyone wants that locker room. But that is a great programme down there. They've really invested in the basketball, especially university, so that's always a good home ground. I mean, I've played down there a couple of times with ball out, and it's such a nice facility. And it's a great place for all those WBL games to be held over the weekend, and it'll be a real showcase for women's basketball in this country.
So starting fives for the two teams, starting with the hometown Solent Kestrels: Justin Bassard, Elias Porman, Sam Acano, Greg Durand and Ricky Madison. For the Manchester Magic, Ty Brown, Kafel Luyet Wool, Andre Gale, Time, Regent Bascombe and Bailey Goodall.
I'm really excited to see how Tyrell Brown gets on this afternoon. When I speak to Greg, he's really excited about him as well. So the rest of the squad, they feel they're really competitive. He's shooting about 60% from downtown, but it's also the lead playmaker, sort of two-way guard. He liked the 3.3 assists, 2 steals. I think he's a really key, especially with Greg out, having to take a lot of that guarding responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, Greg coming out of that Manchester team is a big loss for them, but I'm sure he seems to have quite a deep bench, so I'm sure the people behind will be stepping up. It's quite an experienced team, especially at this level, going up against quite a new Kestrel side, so it'll be a really good game today. I think it's going to be a really nice matchup.
Yeah, a lot of those guys got Liverpool experience or Manchester experience or Lancashire spinners, so they've got a whole range of D1 know-how.
Yeah, I mean, the Northwest is notorious for providing a lot of basketball players. I mean, I'm unlucky to have been from the other side of the Pennines and come up against a lot of those teams. But, I mean, it'll be a nice North-South clash today. I don't know which side I'm going to be on, but we'll see when half-time comes. Just
a case of enjoying the game, even if you're a Halifax girl anyway.
Exactly.
So, ball is tipped, but the first possession goes to the visiting Manchester Magic, as Andre Gale prepares to get the ball. Of course, Andre Gale had such a strong season in Division 2 last season. Of course, Manchester Magic picking up the North title and winning the playoff title against the Solent Kestrels second team, which is the majority of this team today. Here is Goodall, an early shot clock violation. Good defense, especially around the perimeter from the Kestrels.
I mean, it's definitely something that Coach Ben has come in and really drilled home, is these defensive schemes. I mean, we run the same schemes at the women's level, and it's really something he hammers home on a weekly basis, and he has definitely been doing so with the men this week.
Yeah, Solent DNA is really important. Even though obviously Coach Diamond was head coach last year, they passed on the baton, and poor man goes to work. Lovely bounce pass to Durand.
Inside to Durand, the ball goes out of bounds, and Manchester will pick up possession. And here is Terrell Brown. Finds Regent Bascombe, back to Goodall. Goodall's pass tipped out of bounds by Elias Porman. Of course, Bailey Goodall, a heavy defensive presence for the Manchester Magic, normally guards the opposing team's best player. Here is Ty Brown. Regent Bascombe, 4 on the shot clock. Gale, pull-up jumper off the back iron, rebound by Madison.
Nice bit of separation from him, just get Gregory Durant just a little bit further away from him.
Nice play from Elias Portman, missing the layup though. Ball battered away and Portman gets it back. Madison with 3 Manchester players around him, and a foul has been called.
Yeah, Madison, real big threat last time at Loughborough, really kept the score going, real big reason why they made overtime. I've been really impressed that he's had 2 years abroad in Europe, and he's definitely going to be one of the leaders today.
Absolutely, spent last season in Georgia, playing for the interestingly named Cactus Tbilisi. But now in his first season here on the South Coast, 9 to shoot. Bassard, step back jumper, and that's short, and Goodall with the rebound. Slow start from both teams here. Inside, nice play there from Louis Wall, and his layup is no good. In transition, and Kestrels get the first points on the board. Elias Portman with the score.
Yeah, the captain breaking the ice for Kestrels as they get a 2-0 lead. Like you say, 2 minutes without a bucket there.
Brown looking for options, finds it in Goodall, and Bailey Goodall with the easy 2.
That was a nice cut. I mean, you'll see Solent Kestrels now wanting to really push the ball in transition. I think that's something that's going to really help them today if they can get the ball out of their hands early and not let the Magic set up in their half court, because as you can see, they're pretty good at leaking out and getting those tips every now and again.
Akano, thought Akano was fouled as he went to drive to the bucket, and eventually a foul was called, and Solent will get the possession back. That's a first foul on Terrell Brown.
Yeah, I think the defensive ends are really important today. Kestrels actually supposedly a second in the league for defensive rebounds compared to the rest of the competition. So even if they're not missing the shots, they get up high, but struggling in the defensive end. But if they could outscore Magic, they'll probably get a good advantage to get in the win today.
Madison putting the moves on Bailey Goodall. Good defense there from Bailey Goodall, explaining why he's such a good defender. Here is Terrell Brown. Gale, a 3, puts it in.
That was tasty ball movement there with a nice 3.
Akano. Sam Akano nearly loses the ball, and he doesn't in fact, and here come the Magic. A floater there, and no good from Terrell Brown. Portman driving inside, beautiful footwork, but his layup is no good as Time Regent Baskin collects the loose ball.
Manchester really trying to set the tone here, getting those stops on defense and getting those easy
scores
scores offensively.
Absolutely, Time Regent Baskin with the free throw line jumper, and in transition, Elias Portman answers right back for the Kestrels.
Like you say, Anna, transition is going to be so important for the Kestrels, with Magic making some good looks, as Kestrels need to use that transition offense to get equally good looks themselves.
Defensively, Manchester are very smart. I mean, Bailey Goodall might look young, but he's had quite a lot of experience at the Division 1, some BBL minutes with the Manchester Giants a few years back. So
Gale, a 3, short.
Good boxing out there by Portman, really good on rebounding early on already.
Portman, an open pass there, and I think that Greg Durant stepped out of bounds, so Manchester will get the ball back.
I think if he got the ball a little bit high, he probably would have took that shot, and he does like shit from the corner.
He does, yeah. We're lucky as Kestrels team, we've got quite a well-rounded team in terms of we have those shooters, but Greg again quite athletic, Sam very athletic, getting to the hoop, really well-rounded and really score in many ways.
Gale. Regent Bascoon, or Luyet Wool, excuse me, with the 2. Blocked there from Portman.
No!
And here come the Kestrels in transition. Ricky Madison driving. Beautiful play from Ricky Madison. And a quick timeout called by Peter Pereskiva. He has seen enough. And the Kestrels trailing still by 1, but good period of play there from the Kestrels, Anna.
Yeah, I mean, you see now they're going to make some rotations. Kai Walker's coming in, so there's no way that offensive run isn't going to stop now. Kai, great out, getting transition, great moving the ball, great all-round player. But yeah, they're just going to keep the foot on the gas here, really. I can almost guess what Coach Stanley's saying in this timeout right now. But yeah, they're not going to stop here.
Absolutely. And Chris, the Magic started well enough. Obviously, still have a 1-point lead, but just flailing away a little bit from the field goal range. 3 for 9 from the field.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what's impressed me earlier was their ball movement and getting the open man free for good looks. But yes, their field goal percentage is low, but they are trying for beyond the arc.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stand corrected to what I said before the game. We do have one itching player who is number 21, Josh Smith-White. He's coming off a dislocated toe, actually. So it's good to see him back on the D1 roster and back playing after a few weeks out with a bit of a sore toe.
And I think he's going to be good off the bench with his height, which is, like the ladies, a little bit on the shorter side of things. But like you say, they're not taking the foot off gas with Kai Walker. He's one of 6 Kestrel players who shoot above 32.1 3-point percentage. It's very well-rounded team, like you said, Anna.
And Luyet Wall had the ball, but the whistle has gone. Just, I think an issue with the shot clock. The shot clock is turned off at the moment. Now we've got the shot clock back, so play resumes. Kai Walker into the game for the first time for the Kestrels. D'ing up Terrell Brown, who gets the ball back from Gale. Ty Brown driving to the hoop. Bailey Goodall with another rebound. Juliet Wool off right with his 3, but on the follow was Andre Gale.
He's just a menace. He always has been, he always will be. I remember him being around when I was a junior, and he hasn't changed.
Andre Gale looking to bounce back from his 2 for 12 outing against Team Newcastle a couple of weeks ago. A product of the Myerscough Academy. Of course, there's quite a few players that have attended the Myerscough Academy.
Me being one of them.
And you being one of them.
Yeah, just play there. My year 11 year, played Division 2.
Absolutely, yeah. Sam Acano, the Solent number 7, another one of those players. As Bassard misses the second. And Magic get possession back. Here is Brown. Brown and Walker getting a little bit tied up. Inside it goes, and the layup is good for Time Reach and Bascoon.
You've got a few guys with some leaps there who can get up high and really get over those Kestrels guarding them. Lovely pass there.
Walker. Finds Elias Porman. Putting the moves on Liliet Wall. Here is Acano. Porman again, the extra pass to Walker, who couldn't quite pick it up.
Till the shot clock, you get shot pick.
And
Great
Manchester
hustle,
can now break away. Inside, a beautiful move from Kafel Juliet Wool, and he puts it in, and the Magic have a 13-6 lead.
Kestrel, be careful as high swiping blocks, because we could see some man-1 plays in a bit.
Madison. Porman, Walker driving the extra pass to Bassard. Bassard up and under, gets it to go. Beautiful move from Justin Bassard.
He's a great finisher, great scorer. He's one of those guys that if you need him to put the ball in the basket, he'll put it in the basket for you.
Goodall was looking for the pass from Brown, but it came off, I think that came off Ricky Madison's knee. It went out of bounds, and it will stay a Magic ball. Goodall driving at Madison. Great footwork from Bailey Goodall. Beautiful basket from the number 15. I don't think Ricky Madison was even expecting that type of footwork from young Bailey Goodall.
He will do now.
Yes, he's on high alert.
Bassard, the double team comes.
And
open
left.
though, yeah, absolutely. Manchester just left Bassard wide open for that corner jumper, but no good. Here is Brown. Gale. Juliet Wall a 2, and that's off the elbow and off. And here comes Kai Walker. Akano. And Akano falls to the floor, and a foul has been called on the floor as well.
Sam this year has really stepped up from that Division 2 team. There was a couple of pre-season games. The first game they played against Worthing Thunder, he went off. He was shooting the ball from everywhere. Everything was going in. He's really stepped up, and his confidence had a huge boost this season from playing Division 1.
Absolutely, one of those players that, as you said, caused all sorts of issues for the Worthing Thunder in their first game of the season here in the Kit King Trophy.
Adedeji's checked in for Solent at the same time, giving...
And here is Adedeji now driving to the hoop, finds a bit of room and scores.
That was smooth by the young gun. Solent have really recruited well from guys from the academies around the country. Different type of recruitment from what we've known, but looks like it's a good person to start with.
Yeah, it's great to see a lot of academy players from all around the country coming to a club, finishing their education and getting to play at this level.
And Joe Buchanan with his first field goal of the game, into the game for the first time. A guy who led the team with 19 points against Newcastle in their loss a couple of weeks ago, a former GB Under-18 international. And Andre Gale picks up his first foul of the game.
I don't think they've realised that Magic now in team foul trouble, so they should really be going from the line here.
And the referees just realising this themselves, because they weren't even sure as well, and Justin Bassard will go to the foul line. And Justin Bassard in his first season with the club, spent last season in Albania playing for Školda, averaging 10 points, 6 rebounds. And splits the free throws, and Magic come up with it. Here is Juliet Wall. Buchanan putting the moves on Walker, loses the ball, and Greg Duran comes up with it. Walker driving and scoring.
He's such an effective person on that transition, one of the real ones to watch. If he ran a pound for every time last season, I'd say him in the college NBL D1, I would have been way out in pocket more than I am now.
Trevor Samuel misses the 2. Here comes Durand again. Durand driving at Buchanan, goes glass and puts it in.
Tough finish.
Greg Durand wanted a foul, but referee's not interested.
It's a 3-point ball game, probably close speed for a minute.
Entering the final minutes of this first quarter as the pace just quickens up a little bit. Here is Walker. Durand, Madison, wide open, splash! Game is tied at 18 with 53.2 seconds remaining in the first.
Yeah, Solent recruited 2 imports. May not have the same quality as what we've known before, but they did both shoot around the court and offer real good energy and experience.
They both come in and both prove why they're the Americans. And like I say, you see those clutch plays coming from Ricky in that Loughborough game. They're the kind of people that you're happy with having the ball in their hands.
Samuel misses the layup, and Greg Durand another rebound. Adedeji inside to Madison. Madison goes glass. Ricky Madison now with 7 points.
2-point game. I think it's the first time Kestrels had the lead. Madison leading Solent at all straws at 7 points.
Goodall nearly travelled with it actually, but he's managed to keep his footwork in check. Here is Gale. Back to Goodall. Goodall driving to the hoop. Good defense there from Ricky Madison. But Magic will keep possession with 3.1 seconds remaining in the first. Kestrels by 2, so this will be the final possession of the first quarter, in a first quarter that's been really fast-paced, especially towards the latter stages. Buchanan at the buzzer, and that's off right. And that ends the first quarter here at the SSC, and the Solent Kestrels lead the Manchester Magic 20-18. A balanced scoring effort on both sides, it must be said, as Ricky Madison leads the way with 7 points and Andre Gale leading the Magic with 5. But a very fast-paced first quarter, Anna, especially towards the end of it. You could say it favours the Solent Kestrels down the stretch, but for the Magic, got to be happy with how they've come out.
Yeah, I mean, Magic have come out and put their foot on the neck essentially straight away, and it's made the Solent Kestrels tighten up their screws a little bit, especially defensively, because at the beginning the Magic are getting nice, easy scores, and now there's hands in the way, people in their gaps, which is great to see. And if the Kestrels can keep their defense the way it is, then I think they're in for a good chance tonight.
Absolutely. And Chris, for the Magic, for Solent, Ricky Madison with 7 points leading all scorers. A little slow to get going, but he's got into his rhythm the moment that pace of the quarter quickened, or the pace of the game quickened.
Yeah, 100%. He's really been sort of that movable force. So they try to pack the paint to stop him, but he's able to get off the glass. Have a look. Same for Bassard as well. He's demanded double team, but he's been able to get to work with 3 points himself. But it's been a very team performance with scores shared by a lot of guys. But Gale from Magic really impressed me with 5 points early on, and Madison also leading all score 7.
Absolutely, as you see the highlights from the first quarter here at the SSC, in a day that's been filled with exciting basketball from the juniors that forced the women's game to be tipped off a little bit later to this men's game today. And Anna, just as we come back to the second quarter, of course, Solent getting a 61-56 win over the Brent Bulls. A good win for you guys today.
A great win for us. Top of the table clash, like you said earlier, and we're the ones that come out staying on the top of the table, so it's not really a better feeling than that at this point in the season. Great to see the SSC packed out today, like you say, full of those junior players. A lot of my under-16s were out here today, which is great to see after their game this morning. But it's really nice to have that family atmosphere back at the SSC.
And that's just typical of basketball here in Solent. It's a community-based club playing in one of the better facilities in the country. All the way is Greg Durand, and Greg Durand was fouled hard as well.
He almost slid off the arena into the bleachers there.
That's a first foul on Trevor Samuel, who himself a very physical player in his own right, picks up his first foul.
I think Greg's another one who is great to see him up in this Division 1 team this year after coming back from the States last year to attend Solent. He is a product of the Charnwood Academy, and unfortunately at the end of his EABL career suffered a bad knee injury. So it's great to see him getting his chance to shine.
Had 17 points on 7 for 15 shooting in their last home game against the Loughborough Riders. Here is Goodall, Buchanan, Juliet Wall, the extra pass. Gale thought about the three, instead loses the ball, and a foul has been called with 8 on the shot clock. Andre Gale had an open three-point attempt there, decided to go against it and drive to the hoop, but Manchester will pick up possession. The shot clock reset to 14.
And like you say, those hands stirred up quick there, forcing them to have to pass it around, not go for a shot over.
Yeah, Justin's going to be frustrated with that call for sure. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him later on down the stretch.
Great steal there. Adedeji gets his hands in the way. Durand bumps his man, goes glass and scores.
Strong finish, strong finish.
Yeah, we see a lot of those both ends. Both teams be able to bump their man away to get a nice finish.
5 points now for Greg Durand, and the Kestrels lead 23-18. Kai Walker the rebound off the miss from Gale. Bassard backing down Goodall on the spin. Probably didn't have enough room there to get the shot off, and Goodall nearly travelled with it again. Gale comes up with it. Buchanan. Goodall. Samuel finds a bit of room and scores. Beautiful move from Trevor Samuel.
The ball movement for this Magic team is definitely what's setting them apart here. They're not letting the Kestrels defence sleep for a second.
Bassard short with his three-point attempt, and a foul has been called on Joe Buchanan, pushing away on Patrick Adedeji.
And Solent aren't really making it easy for Magic, even with their 5 out in motion, like pack around the court, get the spacing out for the shooters.
As Justin Bassard will take a seat, and Ricky Madison into the game for the Kestrels.
3-point game, 8 minutes, 1 left off the second quarter, Solent ball.
Here is Madison. Good defense there, a mixture of defense there from Polawali and Goodall. 5 to shoot. Durand, an open 3.
He doesn't miss those too often.
Buchanan rebounds, but Durant nearly got the ball back. Good play there from the Kestrels. Portman puts on the Jets and scores.
Yeah, one of those 6 guys who shoots really well for 3.
Here is Polawali. Buchanan, little bit of room, goes inside. That's beautifully done from Joe Buchanan. Walker. And Walker's pass goes straight out of bounds. And Sam Akano will come back into the game for Patrick Adedeji. A good cameo role there for Patrick Adedeji. Both ends of the floor really getting stuck in and causing problems for the Manchester Magic.
Yeah, the Solent picked up these guys who really excelled and dominated the NBL last season. Deji, one of the leaders of steals and 3-point shooting.
As Lou Polawali with the 2 inside. And it's a 1-point game as we enter the 3-minute mark of this second period.
Polawali offers the BBL experience with Leeds Force and also Lancashire Spinners, so he definitely knows this level inside out. Rally pass there.
Leeds
Kai
Force.
Walker, a corner 3,
Sorry,
no
yeah.
good.
Leeds Force, that's a flash in the past. That was my first club, yeah. Played in that jersey many a times.
And Polawali, a corner 3, that's good. In fact, I think that was a long 2.
They
Had put it as a 3, yes. Of course, Polawali spent last season at the Calladale Explorers in Division 3, averaging big numbers there. Here is Walker. Walker driving to the hoop, goes glass, misses everything, or misses the backboard.
Great steal there by Portman. He's had to try to shoot a shot, I think.
Portman was wide open, instead kicks it out. Akano, a 3, splash!
That's what I was saying earlier with Sam. Happy to shoot the ball, happy to score the ball. He's really one of those guys that you don't think will be a threat, but being the littlest guy on the court, but he is.
And the title shots too, he's not afraid to take the Death Valley, and he's one of the Kestrels' leading shooters with 41.2%.
There's a turnover there from Manchester as bit of a scrap under the basket. Walker has it.
Great hustle there by Kai.
Absolutely, and Elias Portman will just keep possession. Still a lot of time on the shot clock. Madison goes under and scores and 1.
Big buckets, big players, showing why he's been recruited from Europe.
Yeah, he's been like this all year, really. I think that delayed start with the visa issues really lit a fire in his belly, and it's really helped him.
Absolutely, and you talk about that, delay in getting him onto the team, and normally with players they would start a little bit on the cold side and just try and adjust. But for Ricky Madison, as you said, Anna, it's just lit a fire under him, and it's just motivated him just that little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a frustrating few weeks, especially for the coaching staff as well. But it's good to see him playing and good to see him putting up those numbers.
And he's already on double digits so early on in the game, 10 points, leading all scores.
10 points indeed. Here is Buchanan. Keegan Marsh into the game for the first time, and he gets his first points of the game.
Yeah, Durant couldn't do much, he just had to stay out of the way.
Madison, Durand, Akano. Durand, good defense from Polawali.
Oh, go up, Josh.
And
yeah,
just a bit scrappy there, but Solent will go to the foul line as Josh Smith-White into the game for the first time. Thought he was going to go for the layup, but instead decided to pass to Durand.
I mean, we were talking in the previous game when you were caught, there's so much talent in each academy, but it's true, it's the same for the men.
Yeah, on the boys' side, it's really competitive to get those slots up at the D1. On the girls' side, we're lucky in being the majority on that team are itching girls, but it's great to see that the boys do get their opportunities just as much as we do. Because I'm a bit biased, but I would say Itchen is one of the best academies in the country in terms of the opportunities that we all get, both through WABL and through National League. So,
and of course for you, Anna, as a player, obviously still young, but Itchen not just giving you more playing time in the WEABL, but obviously it's giving you more coaching opportunities as well.
Yeah, so over the past few years I've really knuckled down on my coaching. It's something I've learned to love. Want to be a teacher one day, so it's a great way into it. Now coaching on the England pathway, and that's all thanks to Vicky Milner, who's our women's coach and head of the women's programme, giving me all the opportunities I can get. And like I say, now assistant coaching the under-16s girls team as well. So our girls programme's only going from strength to strength, and that's all through Vicky and the coaches on the girls' side. And
while that has happened, Jude Carmichael comes on again from another talented academy from Barking.
Josh Smith-White, actually, former Barking player and Dagenham Park player. They won the ABL title last year.
Madison putting the moves on Marsh. I think Ricky Madison wanted that shot to to actually drop. The referees are just confirming with that. So 2 shots has been given, so that basket will not count. So it did look like a bit of offensive interference, and not offensive interference, excuse me, a goaltend, but referees deciding against that as Andre Gale will come back into the game. Joe Buchanan will take a seat.
I'd be really impressed with Tyra, number 12, who's just come on for Durand. Another 3-point shooter, but it's also really good defensive end to see why Coach Stanley's building this academy so you can play both ends. So.
Ilias is an athletic dude. He can jump out the gym, and he's one of those guys who really holds the Kestrels up on the defensive end, but can get out in transition and can shoot the ball quite well too.
As the Kestrels take a 3-point lead with 4:19 remaining in the half.
Yeah, 4-point ball game.
Excuse me, a 4-point ball game. Here is Regent Bascoon. Elbow jumper is good.
Great take.
Yeah, they take some really good shots here today. Nice step back, Smith-White.
Smith-White misses the corner 3. And here is Ty Brown. Gale. Looking for options and finds it in Samuel. 8 to shoot. Trevor Samuel goes inside. And Samuel will get the ball back. Here is Terrell Brown. The extra pass. Beautiful basketball and a foul. As Keegan Marsh gets his second field goal here in this second quarter.
Kestrel's got to be careful now with these little tippy-tap fouls. I mean, they're frustration fouls at the end of the day, and they just got to be careful that those don't rack up.
That's a first foul on Jude Carmichael as Keegan Marsh, another Myerscough product, going to the foul line, but misses the foul shot. Madison loses the ball, and away comes Terrell Brown. Terrell Brown puts on the checks and scores.
He's someone they got to be careful of. He's just going to keep getting out, and if they don't stop him, then I think that's going to be the Kestrels' Achilles heel tonight.
That's 4 points and 3 assists for Ty Brown.
And the lead swung the other way now. It's 2-point ball game for the Magic with 3 minutes left of the half.
Frustrations are boiling over in the Kestrels camp, I think, a little bit. Maybe it's time to regroup on a dead ball and sort things out so they can tighten up these screws a bit more and don't let the lead extend.
Here is Tyrell Brown. Brown looking for options, finds it in Samuel.
Great steal by Akano there. Real pickpocket, trying to lace into gravity, really aids him in those sorts of situations.
However, the ball stays with the Magic. Good defence, though, as you said, from Sam Akano. But Manchester keep possession, 2:49 remaining and 7 on the shot clock. As Justin Bassard will come back into the game for the Kestrels, and Jude Carmichael will take a seat.
Justin's got to be careful not to pick up a second here.
Absolutely, yes. 7 on the shot clock for the Magic. Marsh. Gale goes inside, and Gale, a shot clock violation has been called. Andre Gale did have an open three-point attempt there as well, but decided, that's the second time in this second quarter, decided again not to take it.
Yeah, like you say, Bassard's got to be careful. As last year with his left foot, got his 4 fouls very quickly in a really cool amount of time to be on the floor.
Madison. Akano. Back to Madison. Backing down Samuel. Good footwork there from Madison, but misses the 2. Gale falls to the floor, and Brown is fouled by Josh Smith-White.
Josh knows that's not the one he wants to pick up, but...
Especially when you're right there in front of Coach Stanley in 1 more minute. That's been in memory for a while.
But again, it's another one of those silly fouls, Anna, and now Kestrels nearing the penalty. Manchester already there.
Maybe I just shouldn't have said anything, jinx him a little bit.
As Trevor Samuel will go to the line now for the Magic. Another foul. And a second foul on Smith-White. So Trevor Samuel will go to the foul line, had 10 points in their loss against Newcastle. And we spoke about it at the top of the show, Chris, how Manchester, they might have had a winless record at the moment. However, they have played the top 4 teams so far in Division 1 and have been competitive in those games, most notably against the Worthing Thunder.
Precisely. I think if you said Worthing, Hemel, Newcastle, TBC, Derby and Nottingham, you wouldn't be upset by not getting a win for either of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, our first game of the season in the Kick-In Trophy with Worthing, we were up at half-time.
Yeah.
It was one of the best halves of basketball I've ever seen. And then Worthing just came out and did what they do in the second half. Dre had himself had a great second half. I mean, I can't complain about that too much.
Took a while for them to get going, but Worthing got the job done, and now they're in the Kick King Trophy final as Justin Bassard with the 2, and referee Chris Mills straight away blows his whistle and tells him not to touch the ball as it drops down the cylinder.
That ends a bit of a dry spell. They broke the ice there. It's been a little bit of a while since they've got a bucket, and we're down to 90 seconds. Trade by 1.
1:30 remaining in the half. Brown to Samuel, back to Brown. Gale was looking for it. Good defense there from Akano. Barry Goodall was open. Good hands. Ooh. And Sam Akano falls to the floor.
And there was that athleticism said about Tyrone running down in his lane, giving Akano a passing option.
He's a very smart player as well. He knows where he needs to be. Especially defensively, he's great at getting in the lanes and great at seeing where people are.
As Sam Akano will go to the foul line, and like we mentioned earlier, Sam Akano, a deserved jump up to Division 1, one of the standouts in the Division 2 team last season, especially in the playoffs, and a deserved step up to Division 1 for Akano, another former Myerscough product.
He made the first one. Kestrels have actually not been shooting that well from the line. I think their best players average around 63 from, which is below league average. So it's good for them to hit both of them as it's Achilles heel.
Kestrels are at the moment 7 for 13 from the free throw line. As we enter we come up to the final minute, as Elias Porman will check back into the game, and Justin Bassard will take a seat.
He's not too happy about that, that's for sure.
Absolutely, still.
Especially Coach Scarlett.
Yes, just remonstrating a bit with assistant coach Chris Scarlett.
I think if Chris had his way, he'd sub himself in, come back out of retirement for the second time, and drain 10 threes in someone's face.
Regent Bascoum, a hand in his face, but he gets the 2 to go, looking directly at Elias Poorman while he did it.
No player like yourself, getting those coach opportunities, so he's really happy about this role. That's his role for this season.
I think it's great for him. He's such a big personality in this Kestrels.
Well, an offensive foul, and there's some afters as well, as Kai Walker and I think Time Regent Bascoum getting into it. Both coaches doing very well to keep their bench in order, as the starting 5, or the 5 on the court, excuse me, for both teams were quickly separated.
Coach Day is such a loud presence. I'm in that room and it's soundproof. I always hear him getting his commands out to you guys.
Yeah, he's been great this year. He's doing so well, coaching both a men's and women's team, not just organised. Yeah, and Bucks, yeah, for both men's and women's. It's one thing just having the time organisation to do it. The other thing to have the mental capacity. I mean, if I had to just describe the women's team, I'd call it a madhouse. We're all absolute nutters. He's sick and tired of us. But I mean, we do have a laugh. But for him to be able to go from coaching men to coaching women and be so effective at it, honestly, I don't know how he does it.
I doubt he's at the man with you guys with 6-1 records. But one thing I noticed is that, like last season, you got that media room there, and his time between the 2 games is very limited. So to get his instructions across, got to be very organised. I
mean, we meet before every practice. And honestly, it's great not only for the team, because we get to spend that time together and everyone's on the same page communication-wise. But we get loads of scout done, loads of game reviews. That's really what's setting us apart in terms of our 6-1 record now. He's been great at that.
So an unsportsmanlike foul has been called, and a technical foul has been called. Both were on. Well, the technical foul was on Kai Walker, I believe. And the unsportsmanlike foul, the unsportsmanlike foul was on Time Regent Bascoum. We'll try and get that confirmed. It was said over the PA system, but unfortunately very muffled. But Kai Walker will shoot his free throws, so that was the unsportsmanlike foul.
That ties the game, 38-38.
41.6 seconds remaining. And Kai Walker will now take a seat. That was actually his first foul. And Solent will keep possession.
Kai's one of those people as well, is he doesn't do that very often, and when he does, he holds his hands up and goes, yeah, that was my fault, I got a little bit frustrated. He's a great guy, is Kai, and I'm sure that's something that Coach Stanley appreciates when players do things like that.
Durand, a 3 from the top, that's good.
Just what you want to calm the nerves after that. Bread and butter, above the key, Greg Durand 3.
A quick timeout has been called, so I can confirm that the unsportsmanlike foul was called on Time Regent Bascoum.
Yeah, because like you, I thought they called a technical.
They did, yeah.
Because they did 2 one way, 1 the other with the finger gestures, but obviously that never takes fruition.
So timeout call, 26.1 seconds remaining, and probably good to just get a few, a timeout just to calm down and just to, get both teams going into the next play. But it's been quite a fast-paced and exciting first half of action. Kestrels leading by 4.
Yeah, definitely. Like what you were saying, Anna, the transition game is so important. We've seen that in terms of Kestrels really racking up those points of transition. But then also do it when it's slowed down. Madsen's low post, and it's Loughborough, but also Durand and 3 is both in double digits.
I mean, Greg's someone who, again, is going to shoot the ball and is very happy shooting the ball. He's done a great job of that this season, especially with being consistent. And I think he's going to carry on doing that all game. And that could be the thing that sets him apart, having the ability to play in the post, to run in transition, and to hit shots from outside. Not many teams can do that.
Manchester Magic on the court looking for their first win of the season. 26.1 seconds remaining. They will get the ball. Greg Durand now leads all scorers with 10 points with that 3-pointer.
Along with Mance as well, 10 points. Been a very good day for those duo.
So here is Ty Brown. So not much differential between shot clock and game clock. Just 2 seconds between it. Here is Regent Bascoon. Guarded by Poorman.
Great pressure.
Good defense there. Goodall has it. They keep the ball. The extra pass, Gale. Back to Gale from Brown.
Get there, really.
And Smith-White has it, and that'll end a quite chaotic first half. It ended very scrappy, a bit ill-tempered at times. However, the Kestrels lead 42-38.
Yeah. I think it's a great, like we were just saying, they can score from all angles, so that's something that Manchester really have to defensively tighten down on. But equally, it's a pretty tight game, and to be honest, there's only a few free throws in it when you really look at it. I no doubt Manchester are going to have a quick half-time talk and come out with all guns blazing, really.
Absolutely, and for Manchester, it's not out of reach. Obviously, it's anyone's game. 4 points the difference. It was a bit scrappy to end the half, but they're still in this.
Yeah, I think that last couple of sessions really summed up the half. Kestrels really good on D, but Manchester equally very good at getting out of that traps and good ball movement there. And they really deserve bucket from that well thought out play.
So that ends the first half here at the Solent Sports Complex. The Solent Kestrels lead 42-38 over the Manchester Magic. Join myself, Chris and Anna for the second half in around 13 minutes' time. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Solent Sports Complex here in Southampton, where the Solent Kestrels lead the Manchester Magic 42-38. John Hobbs, Chris Hughes and Anna Neverson alongside me to give you all the action from the second half. And Anna, both teams are shooting 50% or more from the field, so fairly accurate shooting in what has been a fast-paced first half. Do you expect a bit more of that in the second half, or are you going to see a more slower, more methodical pace?
I think it will stay pretty much the same. Both teams play very similar. I think it's going to be a case of who can wrap it up defensively, is who's really going to take the lead in this second half.
And Chris, for the Magic, shooting the ball very well, but still trailing by 4. What do you think Coach Paraskeva was telling his team in the locker room?
I think he'd be okay with it at the moment. It's not like you said, they're shooting well, they're defending well. It's just about keeping that ball movement on point, as they've been really good with the ball movement around the perimeter. And I've been really impressed by Goodall as well. They've shown a lot of maturity against Madison and co. And they may not have expected it, but they will expect the second half.
And before we start the third quarter, a big shout out to our NBL Live sponsors for today's game and for the season in general: Wilson, SportServe, Dynamic, Sport England and Sure Shot, our NBL Live and WNBL Live sponsors. As we get ready to start the third quarter in what has been a fantastic day of basketball here in Southampton, and it always is when you come down here to the South Coast. It's such a welcoming atmosphere and such a loud atmosphere as well. I think this is arguably the biggest crowd of the season so far. We were told that we were allowed to actually be in the stands on commentary and not in the commentary booth, but that's proven us wrong, because we're having to duck and dodge all the time because fans keep coming in. It's great to see, and it's a welcome distraction, absolutely no doubt about it.
Yeah, for me it's strange. I'm so used to be that box.
Yeah.
There's no pros and cons.
You ain't kidding.
It is nice to see the SSC filled up both for the men's and women's games, though. Even with the shifts in especially the men's team this year, it's nice to see that they're still packing out.
And Anna, I've been to many WNBL games over the last years, and this season especially, I think towards the latter stages of last season as well, we saw a tremendous rise in awareness and fan participation. There was lots of fans here. I went to a Worcester Solent game actually that you were playing in the National Cup that had nearly 300 people attending, and it just shows that the WNBL, when marketed correctly, the fans will flock in, and we're seeing that a lot, aren't we?
Today, I have to say, I think that's the biggest crowd I've seen in here for a women's game, which was really nice to see, because like you say, that Worcester game last year, there were a lot of people there, but Worcester's such a big arena, the noise doesn't travel too well, whereas in here, it's nice and compact, so it's really nice to see people coming out to our games and making some noise. We really appreciate it on the court, and you can see it makes a difference, especially with our third quarter today.
And our next WNBL Live game will be on the 3rd of December, when we travel to Bristol to see the Bristol Flyers take on Ipswich. That should be an exciting encounter down in the southwest. Lilliet Wall back to Brown. Good handles there from Ty Brown. Couldn't get the shot to drop. Bailey Goodall and Sam Meccano fighting for it, and both competitors not giving up the fight. And the possession arrow, I think, is going the way of the Kestrels.
Yeah, so the fighting we'd like to see on the court. Obviously, on the second court, we had a little bit of a ruckus, but that's the competitors you want to see. And Carlo brings that energy both ways. We've already said so many times already this show.
Of course, Bailey Goodall, a competitor in his own right. He wasn't going to give up that fight easily either, as the ball goes out of bounds the other way. Manchester will get the ball back.
Yeah, sorry, Dale did really well to stay out of the way. He knew that was a Magic possession otherwise.
Samuel finds Gale with 9 to shoot. Goodall, I think Goodall travelled with that, and he did, yes. One too many pivot foots there for Barry Goodall. As you see the replay here, as just using one foot and then moving the other foot before he took his dribble. Solent lead by 4, opening minute of this third period here at the Solent Sports Complex. Poorman inside. Bassard gets inside and a foul.
What made to break the ice for the third quarter?
Great play there from Justin Bassard. He now moves on to 7 points. That's a third foul on Tyrell Brown.
And on the talk of WNBA, I think the last time you heard official fans, it was the All-Stars, and that was a great ad for the ladies' game, with the arena filling up quite early on, especially for the ladies' game with the men starting much later.
Absolutely, and it turned out to be Katrin Hulme's last chapter in her very successful playing career, getting MVP in that women's game. Here is Bassard, and Justin Bassard will go back to the foul line.
Her opposing captain, Alia, is doing amazing so well. Most efficient player in the league in her comeback year.
Definitely great to see her coming off that really nasty ACL injury.
Absolutely.
Still doing her, still being 5 foot something and posting a double-double every game.
And probably the most enthusiastic commentator I will ever have in a commentary booth as well. Absolutely full of energy, and could barely hear myself talk every time she was talking over me. She was so excited just to be here, which is just typical of the type of human being Alia is.
She is like the Duracell bunny. That's the only way you can describe her.
And I thought Molly Danielson had that nickname, but my goodness me, she was that times 4. Here is Juliette Wall. Samuel putting the moves on Bassard. Samuel Goodall nearly got it, but it was a turnover. Here come the Kestrels.
Nice handles like Greg.
Duran, though, lost the ball, and here come the Magic in transition. Barry Goodall going all the way, and a foul.
And if Bassard he could match it, getting him fouled on that opportunity.
Barry Goodall with no fear, just driving right through. Beautiful take, beautiful take. You saw it on the replay, Chris. Beautiful take.
Oh,
that's
amazing.
That's a second foul, on Bassard.
Yeah. It's been a real interest battle between the duo. Both really lighting up this game.
Goodall now moves on to 6 points. Not normally known for his offensive capabilities, but he's showing it here today. Here is Poorman. Durand driving baseline on the spin. The extra pass. Bassard, a 3, and that's off.
Yeah, he definitely seems like a team-first player, but he's getting those lurks and he will take them if it's the right opportunity. He's been very efficient.
I think it'd be great to see those two players going at each other this second half. I think the only problem there might be that Justin is a very emotional player, and I think he just has to keep his emotions under control and be able to be effective with those instead of letting them boil over and him getting into more foul trouble.
Here is Goodall. Goodall driving again at Bassard. Gale, a corner 3.
Very high arc there, just overhit that one.
Here is Madison, and Madison quickly fouled at half court.
Most of the Magic guys are at least 2 fouls already. The Kestrels have barely fouled anyone this game.
Yeah, 3 team fouls for the Magic. Just the 1 team foul for Solent. Here is Akana. Bassard driving, going to the hoop, puts it in, and a foul.
Second and 1 opportunity, back-to-back defensive possessions for him.
And Justin Bassard, that's a second foul on Kafel Juliette Wall, and Bassard now moves on to 10 points. 3 Solent players on 10 points, Bassard, Durand, and Madison. Offensive rebound by Poorman. Durand, a 3 off the back iron.
Great ball.
And Trevor Samuel comes up with it. And a foul called under the basket.
Yeah, like you're saying, John, so we've got 3 guys at 10 points. Magic really sharing the story of only May, the only player not to get on the board. It's been a team performance by the visitors who only trained by 7. It's all to play for.
Talk about the near full house here at Solent Sports Complex. I nearly nearly had someone on my lap there just a second ago, but off camera. All for the greater good, though. A fantastic crowd here tonight at the SSC as Andre Gale will go to the foul line, misses the first. As Manchester now 1 for 5 from the foul line, trailing by 7 as well, and that's not a good look. And Coach Peresceva will no doubt look to improve on that as Andre Gale makes the second.
Especially when, like we were saying in the first half, they shot was 7-13 from the freebie line.
Portman drives.
Great
Nice pass
find.
to Akano and misses the layup. And Gale comes up with it. Gale driving, goes glass. That's beautiful movement. Great body control as well from Andre Gale and gets the 2 to go, 47-43.
He's just so good at understanding what finish to use when and how to use his body that he could really finish through anything.
Akano. Madison, that's short.
So really preferring that 4-out-1 in motion at the moment, just so they can get that real good off-ball movement Coach Stanley and Kestrels demanding of DNA.
Here is Akano, a corner 3 for Sam Akano. That's off the back iron. Buchanan into the game for the Magic and on the ball. Gale. Buchanan, a long 3, and that's off right.
Yeah, he shot that all the way from the car park almost.
Duran putting the moves on Goodall. Bumps his man, goes glass. Goodall does well to stand his ground. And a miscommunication there. And Portman comes up with it.
Great hands, great hustle.
Right, Duran lucky not to get the foul call there as Bournemouth a bit of heavy contact.
Akano.
I think this is going to be one of those games that the refs are going to let it get a little bit physical.
Yeah, both teams
Bassard
up for
going
it, aren't
glass, and he'll go to the foul line for 2.
they? And that's almost second foul.
Yep, Bailey Goodall's second foul. Halfway point now of this third period, and Anna, just like you said, you know, it seems like these referees are going to let these two teams just get a little more physical, and that being too controversial, that's something one of the referees is not accustomed to. That's the great Chris Mills there, but either way, it's showcasing the very best of this game so far.
I think to call it a little bit tighter would be a bit of an injustice to both teams, because I think players like Justin are really good at using their physicality. Being an American, he's accustomed to using that, and coming over here with our refs, they're not accustomed to big guys using their bodies. So I think it's great that the refs are kind of taking a step back and going, you know what, we'll officiate what we need to officiate, but if we're going to blow everything, we'll be here all night.
And we'll be deep into the roster too.
Here is Buchanan putting the moves on Walker. Caffel, Juliet, Wall for 3.
I think that's our first bucket of the second half, or one of the first anyway. It's a cold spell for the Magic.
Magic's 4th 3 of this game. Portman goes inside and scores.
4-point game, 4 minutes 41 left of third quarter.
Juliet Wall will be fouled on the floor just before Joe Buchanan got the ball at the baseline.
It's Justin's third there. He's got to be really careful.
Absolutely, yes. Third foul on Bassard.
Stanley chooses to keep him in at the moment, but
just about to say that, actually, yeah. Coach Stanley opting to keep him in, a risky strategy. It's paid off for players in the past.
What's great about Ben, though, he's one of those coaches that if you make a mistake, he's not going to punish you for it. I think sometimes he does it with Megan as well. Megan is a great defender, but sometimes gets unlucky with her timing, and if he pulled her out, then I think that'll be more of a detriment than her just staying in and being careful.
Akano Back to Portman, beautiful move from Elias Portman. And the Kestrels now take a 60 or a 52-46 lead with 4:18 remaining, and Coach Perescava calls a timeout.
Yeah, no, I think that's really well timed, because to say Kestrels are really getting in motion. They're really getting most of their looks in, whereas Magic are struggling with 1 or 2 looks, and Kestrels on form at the moment. It's a 6-point ball game. It's really the point. If he didn't point now, I think the ball game would go further away from them. It's time to reset it.
Absolutely, and for the Magic, Anna, just a case of just calming down, taking each possession as it comes. Almost a carbon copy of what you guys went through earlier today. Down by 21 points, just slowly but surely, just chipping away at the deficit.
I mean, for us, that's 2 weeks in a row now. We've had that big deficit in a third quarter. And I think it's a test of character more than ability. I mean, today we did a great job of coming together as a team and really helping each other through it. But it all came from the defensive end. I mean, we held the second best scoring team after us in the league to a 10-point half. I mean, that has to say something about our ability defensively. And then, I mean, we're a lucky team where we have players that can play both ends of the floor, and a great leader in Christy Velke-Cleve, who in both games has been a real catalyst and a real figure for us, who can really pull us through those tough situations. Yeah,
I think the Bulls really spotted her leadership, double teaming her. And like you said, you kept one of the high-scoring teams, only 10 votes above your actual average. It's a testament to team defense, which was the top teams in the league.
Juliet Wall finding Joe Buchanan, who drives at Walker, finds Regent Bascombe off the back iron. Bassard driving and scoring.
Clear the lane, folks. That's not the defense coach would have wanted out of that timeout.
All of a sudden, it's an 8-point lead for the Kestrels. Gale inside, that's too easy.
Coach Stanley not going to be happy with that one. Definitely not. I feel like now I think it's going to be a case of just both teams trading for a little bit until someone can...
Another score for Justin Bassard this time.
Easy bucket by easy bucket by easy bucket.
Absolutely, both teams having no problem going inside and scoring right now. One for the offensive purists at the moment, as Gale at the baseline misses and Regent Bascombe comes up with the rebound. Again, 9 to shoot.
Again, I think this comes back to who can really tie it down defensively. I mean, both teams can score, but it's who can stop the other one from scoring, essentially.
3:10 remaining in the third period. And that's a 4th foul on Justin Bassard, and Ben Stanley has seen enough. He wants to take him to the bench, and you can hear what that meant to Justin Bassard, who just shouted something that was a little less PG-13 as he gets to the bench.
And that was a good foul by Magic. Bassard was on a hot spell, lead all scores 15 points. But again, we're talking about Bassard getting 4 fouls in the game, and not something you'd want to see re-echoed too often.
Joe Buchanan there with the runner, and the Magic trim the deficit to 6.
I think he'd be really good here to see Josh getting the ball a little bit, and he can shoot the ball. He's 6'6", 6'7". He's a tall guy, but he's really able from outside of the key. So it'd be nice to see him getting the ball a little bit and getting his shot at the score.
As Solent keep the ball with 2:42 remaining.
Yeah, I feel like you're saying Smith White Mads would be really key. Got shooters around them, they could really benefit the space. Lovely reverse on it. Go for the back here.
Here is Madison, a wide open 3, no good. As Portman challenged 2 Magic players for that ball. As Patrick Adedeji comes back into the game, and Sam Akano will take a seat. And Luik Polawali will come back into the game for the Magic. Andre Gale will take a seat. Madison driving inside, too strong. And here come the Magic again.
I think there's a little bit of contact in that one, so I can understand Ricky's frustration.
Polawale. Buchanan. driving at Madison. A pull-up 2 is good.
Fundamentally, he is really good at getting to that one dribble pull-up. He's smart and he knows how to use his dribbles and his footwork effectively. I think that's what's really given him that 9-point scoreline that he's got, and he's really keeping the magic in the game right now.
Madison, a wide open 3
Wow.
splash.
See, that'll be the outfit. First, we'll have with the screen, then with the separation, got the open man, open clear, open 3. That's that every day.
Buchanan, wide open 3, had to reach out to get that. It was a poor pass, but his 3 gets nothing but air. Madison driving, loses the ball, but a foul has been called.
Again, Ricky, one of those smart players who just knows when to go, when not to go, and he's been really effective this season. A guy who spent 4 years at High Point University in North Carolina, had 18 points, 14 rebounds against Loughborough a couple of weeks ago in that agonising overtime defeat.
Yeah, certainly really strong launches that day, but Madison was consistent in the low post area, even against Gamble, who's a real menace in the paint as well.
Shot 8 for 21 from the field, so you can tell, from the field goal attempts he took in that game, still trying to adjust, but definitely a very free-flowing scorer when given the chance. Currently has 14 points right now. And splits the free throws. Juliet Wool, Regent Bascoon, a pull-up 2, and that's short, but he collects his own rebound. Now drives at Walker. Good defense there from Kai Walker. And that should be a Manchester ball as Smith-White and Madison, with a bit of a lack of communication there, just going for the same thing and not calling whose ball it was. 1:04 remaining in the third period. Kestrels up by 8 here on the Basketball England YouTube channel. If you've just joined us, welcome everyone.
Ollie White's just checked in. Another one for the Academy from Oakland with D1 experience.
Absolutely. Here is Ty Brown. Beautiful up and under, but doesn't get the shot to drop. And here is Ollie Wright now on the ball. Madison, beautiful move, but misses the layup. Kai Walker didn't give up on the loose ball. And Manchester again pick up the ball. It's 42.2 seconds remaining in the third. Brown, Goodall back into the game on
Open
2
lane.
fouls. Open lane, beautifully done by Pulawali for the 2.
A bit too easy there than I think the Kestrels coach and stuff would like, but still a 6-point lead for them.
Yeah, you've got a 4-second shot, game clock differential here.
Adedeji, here is Madison. Shot clock down to 5. Madison falls to the floor. Buchanan has it. Ollie Wright has it now. And bodies on the floor. Barry Goodall gets to his feet. Ollie Wright also now up. Ollie Wright has the ball. It will be a Manchester possession as the possession arrow shows with 3.3 remaining. I think there might be a few more seconds added on.
Here comes Albie with his mop, bless him.
One thing that I always notice about my trips to Solent is the volunteers of this club, and especially how many youngsters there are. I don't think there's any team in the NBL that has as many volunteers that are kids than Solent, and that's great to see. And a mop boy there getting the job done.
Everyone starts as a floor wiper. I started as a floor wiper, wiping up Rob Marsden's sweat back when I was about 12 up at Leeds Force. But I mean, it's just like you say, the kids volunteering. I think how full the SSC is today is just tribute to what a great job kind of head of basketball Matt Guyman's been doing in creating that Kestrels family again, and it's great to see all the youngsters turning out for the senior games. It's really nice to see.
So 4.4 seconds remaining on the third quarter game clock. And a wayward pass from Barry Goodall. Still finds it to Polawali, but his three is way off. And that ends the third period, where the Solent Kestrels lead 60-54. Justin Bassard leading all scorers with 15 points. Andre Gale has 10. Still all to play for, though, Chris, as we enter the fourth.
Yeah, I think when we look back at that third quarter, Bassard was the guy with the handball opportunities, but his fourth foul means actually it gives more leeway for Magic to come in back in. As say, Gales are now 10 points. Madison then picked up those reins metaphorically from Bassard, and is 40 points himself. Yeah, it's anyone's game, really. 6 points game. It's very close.
And Anna, both teams shooting around 50-47. Well, Solent are shooting 50% and Manchester are shooting 47%. So the consistency is still there, like we saw at the end of the first half, but this is now where it all gets down to the business.
I think it's going to be a test of character to see if Manchester can bring this back to a tie game and maybe take the lead, and especially for the Kestrels guys who, like you say, Justin was a real scorer in that third quarter, and him being out on his fourth foul, whether he'll come back in again in this fourth quarter, or maybe if other people are going to have to kind of take those reins off of him and go do the job for him. I think it's going to be a close one.
Absolutely, all to play for here in this fourth quarter. Of course, the next time our NBL Live cameras will be back with you will be in Bristol on the 3rd of December, when the Bristol Flyers take on Ipswich Basketball Club down in the southwest. Should be a fantastic day of basketball in Bristol. Always enjoy my trips to Bristol, and a very, again, like here, family-friendly atmosphere. Of course, led by the BBL team, the Bristol Flyers, doing a great job in the BBL right now, currently top of the league, and a fantastic program there run by Bristol Sport.
Oh, 100%, and really excited. Just obviously they've got the planning permission for that, the new arena at Ashton Gate, I believe, and it's great to have multi-sports in one arena. I think that's going to be great for the family, and we'll have potential for growth for basketball in that area.
There we go, the start of the fourth period here at the Solent Sports Complex. Here is Brown. Guarded by Wright. Brown. The open man is Regent Bascoon for three.
As Regent, his last two possessions in, Kai Walker giving snake ties to Regent Bascoon, but it wasn't put off there with putting the ball back in play the second time.
I think a little bit of defensive miscommunication was at fault there for that open three.
Here is Polawali. Polawali's nearly stolen by Walker, and a foul has been called. Kai Walker just reaching in a bit too much for the referee's liking, as you see it on the replay. Can't really see much there, and especially where we were on commentary. Goodall. Brown. Goodall. A floater, it goes.
5-0 run to start the fourth. Good start for Magic.
And Barry Goodall, I don't think he even expected that ball to come to him, but when he got it, he made no mistake.
Yeah, I think his instincts took over there.
Walker. Inside it goes to Ollie Wright, and I think Ollie Wright, in fact, travelled with it. Thought he had 1 foot out of bounds, actually, but referee decided he travelled. 1 point game in the early stages of this fourth period. Here is Brown. Gale finds a bit of room inside. Goodall, the extra pass. Goodall gets it back. 5 on the shot clock, maybe one pass too many there for the Magic. Bodies again on the floor.
Better defense after Kestrels had that bit of a lapse in concentration. With too many people open, they made sure they stuck for the man, and it paid off dividends in that play.
Absolutely. And once again, Barry Goodall right at the heart of that scramble on the floor, just getting trying to get every loose ball.
Yeah, and you said he's primarily a playmaker, but he's slowly getting towards that double digits as one of the lead scorers for his team. He's having a game and a half this afternoon.
Durand. Gets it back. Here is Durand again. Wright, a three. And Oliver Wright, a good three-point shooter, as we saw last season with the Oakland Wolves, misses that one. Gale inside, and a foul.
Again, like the third, Gale have that open route to the basket. Again, we say Coach Stanley would not be happy that they made that same mistake twice.
I think I think he's going to be a great scorer in this fourth quarter, and he could be, him and Bailey together could be the real difference maker and can cause a real problem for the Kestrels. And
all of a sudden, the Manchester Magic now have a 1-point lead, chance to make it a 2-point lead from the foul line. Manchester not shooting the ball very well from the foul line tonight, but they make that one.
And they extend their fourth quarter run to 8-0, so they need to get back in it.
Absolutely, an 8-0 run from the visitors. And a steal there from Polawali. Goes up and scores!
So if that's hands in their face, they realise that the Kestrels in trouble.
Timeout Ben Stanley, a 10-0 run from the Magic, and they all of a sudden lead by 4. And a great start, as Chris alluded to, a great start to this fourth quarter from the Manchester Magic.
Yeah, I think, like I say, it's a testament of character now. Who's first to loose ball, who's pressing who's doing a better job. Communication. It's not necessarily about who can score the ball the most and who are technically the better players. Like you see in Andre Gale is just trying to get to the hoop, trying to get through people, and it's more about energy and mentality now than it will be about anything else.
And just, obviously you know Coach Ben Stanley better than anyone here on this table. What do you think he's telling his team here in this timeout?
Gaps defense. It'll be all about defense. I think it's communication especially. I think it's, for him, he's going to be frustrated. I know he was frustrated after the game last week about defense. I think it's right now that's what he's going to want to tighten up, because offensively they've got guys who can score the ball from anywhere, and I think it's really going to be the defense that they're going to have to stop the Magic from scoring.
Absolutely. So 2 minutes played in this fourth quarter, and Manchester have got out to an electrifying start as they aim for their first win of the season. What a confidence boost it would be for the Magic to get a win here today. They've travelled a long way. It's a near 500-mile round trip.
It's a horrible drive. I can testament to that.
I think we all can, really, can't we? But I can't say too much more about that. As Sam Akano goes to the hoop, and Solent break their duck in the fourth. Gotta love those M6 drives. Brown driving, and Madison collects the loose ball. Durand. Akano spreading the ball around the perimeter. Here is Ollie Wright. Good steal there from Barry Goodall, and he keeps the ball. Ollie Wright, though, collects it back. Durand goes glass, misses everything, and Barry Goodall, I think, went over the back of Greg Durand, and that will be his third foul.
Not something Pete Parascava will be too happy about. Barry Goodall picking up his third.
As Ollie Wright will take a seat, Kai Walker will check back into the game for the Kestrels.
Stanley rolling the dice of luck, bringing Bassard back in.
Yeah, Bassard on 4 fouls will come back into the game.
Let's hope it plays in his favour.
Of course, as you both mentioned earlier, Chris and Anna, Bassard likes to wear his heart on his sleeve, a very emotional player. He'll need to keep his emotions in check, though. Here is Bassard over Goodall and scores.
That clash between those two stars, and so we really keep an eye on the next couple of minutes. Lawrence Bassard doesn't foul again.
Absolutely, and Goodall will know that Madison Bassard is on 4 fouls, so we'll look to zero in on him. Here is Polawale.
7 on the shot clock, he gets it off quick.
5 on the shot clock now. Polawale, a floater, rattles it in.
I think Justin's got to be really careful, because, like you say, the Magic are going to pick up on the fact he's on 4 fouls and try and go at him, but equally he has to play defense smart more than anything, just to make sure he doesn't pick up a cheat one for his fifth.
Great footwork there from Akano to find Walker. I think an offensive foul has been called actually on Kai Walker.
Really?
Yeah, a bit of a surprise call there from our perspective up here.
I thought that was a defensive foul myself, but either way, that's a third foul.
I think they called that as a travel.
Oh, yeah.
They might have done, yeah, they did. Elias Portman with the steal, and now Durand on his own in transition.
And Solent now on a 6-0 run themselves here. They've found a tied game.
All to play for here with 6 minutes and 5 seconds remaining of the fourth. Gale, 3 from the corner, long. Akano with the rebound.
Again in transitions, what you say, Addison, we said for Solent in this closing minute.
Beautiful play from Bassard, and the Kestrels retake the lead.
8-0 run.
Traditionally, a Kestrels team are great again in transition. I think that is something that Coach Stanley has really honed in on this year and is really carrying that on for the guys that are used to playing in this programme. It's something that follows up through the age groups into the senior divisions.
Gale did so well to stick with it and gets it to go over 3 Solent players.
And like I say, smart defence by Bassard there, so easily could have got hand in one place there.
Well, on the first possession that Gale put up, Bassard was nearly too aggressive there, but managed to keep it in check. Here he is on the ball. Misses everything. Brown.
Oh, no, not again. Name.
Gale. Polawale. 9 to shoot. Regent Bascoon. Shot clock ticking down. Brown's got to put up something. And the ball goes out of bounds. And it will go to the Kestrels. Good defense there from Solent. But again, Manchester, they had open lanes there, but decided again not to take them.
I think sometimes it's a case of ball movement's great, but over-moving the ball, once you get into that kind of rhythm of that extra pass, can sometimes fall as a disadvantage to them.
Yeah, so you need to be careful of that right-sided rain as Manchester keep finding open looks there.
Akano, the extra pass, Bassard a 3 off the back iron. And here comes Terrell Brown. Here is Trevor Samuel over 3 defenders.
Great defense by Kai.
Kai Walker with the definitive hands in the face of Samuel. Akano puts on the glove, checks and scores.
Great acceleration there from the standing spot. He really put the blue lights on and got to the basket.
Probably one of the quickest players on the court, Sam Akano, and that was why.
Nearly wiped out 3 cheerleaders in the process.
And the pass there from Ty Brown finds no one but the cheerleaders on the other side.
Cheerleaders getting very involved in the game.
.401 remaining, all to play for. Kestrels up by 2, and I think the young Mott boy was at it again a little bit there as play now restarts. Portman trying to put the moves on Gale, getting a few oohs and ahs from the crowd. And Anna.
Yeah.
Here is Madison. Driving at Samuel, a foul on the floor has been called.
I think that's an unlucky one there. Staying chest to chest, just, ooh, hold. Unlucky one for him to pick up.
And that's a 3rd foul now on Samuel, so the foul's really racking up for the Magic. That's three players now on 3 fouls.
I think they've got to be careful not to get, both teams have got to be careful not to get into team fouls this late in the game, because that could really be the thing that could throw the game in the end.
No good for Bassard.
Here is Andre Gale, and a foul called at half court.
I'm going to stop talking about fouls, because every time I talk about fouls, someone fouls.
And we were speaking, Anna, earlier, I think we might have cursed this, how we wanted the referees to just let the play get physical, but it seems like there's going to be a lot of calls in this 4th period.
I think the referees also have to be mindful of it is the 4th quarter, and I think if they let things get a bit physical in the 4th, it's a different story to when it is earlier on in the game. I know, as an official, I would not want to be the reason that someone didn't get a foul call when they're down by 2.
I think Coach Stanley's seen the change of direction.
Yeah,
from the officials.
absolutely.
Wesley Bassard.
Absolutely, yeah. Durand will take a seat. Bassard will take a seat, excuse me, and Durand is back in. Here is Lilliet Wall. Shot clock winding down. The up and under gets it to go. Kafel Juliet Wall, that's a brilliant move.
So with the 2,000
Madison, wide open 3 in and out. Rebound Brown.
There's a silly one there from Zane.
That's a 4th team foul as well on the Kestrels, so that's a first foul on Elias Poorman.
See what happens when I mention team fouls straight away.
There is such a thing as a commentator's curse. It does exist, Anna, so don't worry. You're not the first, you won't be the last. Here is Ty Brown. Gale putting the moves on Walker.
retribution like last game and Walker had him on the floor.
Shot clock down to 5. Lilliet Wall. Goodall a 3. Puts it in.
Fresh shot went round.
Bailey Goodall from downtown. The game is tied. In fact, actually, the Magic take the lead with that shot. It's a 2-pointer.
No, it's a 3-pointer.
In fact, now it's a 3-pointer. Scoreboard just having a funny 5 seconds there, but either way, 2:36 remaining, and the Manchester Magic take a 3-point lead.
And that's just as Bassard went off the court. I wonder whether if he was on the court, he would have guarded that. But Goodall now tying the Wally and Baston on 11 with Gale leading 15. There's 4 guys really taking the meat of the scoring for them.
Absolutely, and Solent really now need to find an answer, Anna, and 2:36 remaining. Still a lot of time, a lot of basketball still yet to be played, but a great momentum builder that for the Manchester Magic, coming from a guy that you would never expect to shoot a 3-pointer in Bailey Goodall.
I think as much as you wouldn't expect him to shoot it, I think out of anyone on that team, he's the guy that's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to shoot it.
Yeah.
He's a young guy with a lot of confidence and a lot of earned confidence from some of the places he's played and some of the scores he's put up in previous games and previous seasons. But now I think for the Kestrels, it's going to be a case of execution over anything. I can almost guess that Coach Stanley has drawn something up they're going to have to execute now. Whether they execute it or not could make the swing for this next 2.5 minutes.
Manchester shooting 42% from downtown in this game, as opposed to 25% from the Solent Kestrels, 4 for 16 from three-point land for the hosts.
Again, there's no recount. There's a tight game for the Kestrels heading into the final minutes.
Madison finds Durand. Beautiful play, but he blows the layup and a foul is called.
That is exactly what I know. Ben's drawn that up, and that's exactly what they'd have been looking for them to execute like that is nearly perfect.
That's a third foul on Gale. That's real good tactical foul to kick him out.
So Greg Durand now to the line. 3 fouls on Andre Gale. And Greg Durand, a decent 3-throw shooter in his own right, gets the first.
He's very cool-headed, is Greg. He's so laid back, it's unreal. And I think that's why he's such a good free-throw shooter, especially in these situations.
Strings both of them.
Like I say, character. Character's what tests us, and in these clutch situations, character's what get you through them.
So Trevor Samuel will get the ball for the Magic. 2:18 remaining. The gap is 1.
And Bessard's back on now to guard Goodall on this next possession.
And Greg Durand will take a seat. Here is Brown. 2:10 remaining. Samuel, an open lane, no good. On the follow was Gale.
Nearly dunked on his own teammate.
Akano driving at Gale, lays it up and in.
Great take. He can really just turn on the jets and get through 5 people if he really needs to.
And we have a shot clock malfunction with 1:50 remaining. Manchester Magic at that time had 10 seconds to get the ball up court and to take a shot, which referee Chris Mills was in good position to see, and the shot clock will be reset. 1:50 remaining, the gap is 1 in this enthralling game to close what has been a sensational day of basketball here on the Solent University campus. As the shot clock is still not working its magic here.
I think both teams got to be careful here. Team fouls more than anything. It was such a close game. I think Kestrels especially, they're on 4 now. Any more fouls and they're going straight to the charity stripe. So I think it's going to be a case of playing with their hands out more than anything.
But in the long run, this could favour the Kestrels a little bit more. Only Bassard is really in any foul trouble. The next person down from that is Kai Walker and Josh Smith-Wright on 2 fouls. And for the Manchester Magic, 3 of their players are on 3 fouls.
And then now we mentioned fouls, but you know what's going to happen here.
Let's hope not.
Samuel. Here is Goodall on the spin. Luyet Wall driving, beautiful play from Kafel Luyet Wall, and his 2 goes.
3-point game here now. Kestrels need to get something on this last 90 seconds.
Bassard, excuse me, that's Madison. Horman driving, couldn't find Bassard. Ball goes out of bounds, it's a Manchester ball.
I think everyone in the SSC now has kind of sat up straight in their chair. Everyone's kind of a bit on edge now. It's been getting a little bit comfortable in that 3rd quarter.
Brown, final 90 seconds. Magic lead by 3. Goodall was wide open. Samuel puts in a 3.
Clutch basket there. 6-point game.
Trevor Samuel from downtown. He moves on to 6. Madison on the spin. Good defense there from the Magic. That was Bailey Goodall getting in the way. Solent will keep the ball.
Bailey Goodall being the real difference maker now.
What a game Bailey Goodall has had. 11.7 rebounds and 2 steals.
And he's played most of the minutes. He's only sat off about 8 minutes in this game, so coach really appreciated his work this afternoon.
Certainly the player, type of player that does so much more than what you see on the stat sheet. A coach's dream is Bailey Goodall, just a no-thrills type of player. Just gets the job done on the court. So Solent will keep the ball with 1:01 remaining. Solent really need a basket here. Porman. Akano didn't put the 3 up, but strives inside. Madison, a 3 off the back iron. Tipped away, Walker comes up with it. Bassard, short. Madison comes up with the loose ball. Great defense again from Goodall. Andre Gale tips it away. And an unsportsmanlike foul has been called.
That was not the one he needed.
Ricky Madison just shoved Ty Brown to the floor.
Really not the one that he needed.
33.3 seconds remaining, and now Manchester with a chance to really put the game beyond Solent's reach at this stage. That's a 2nd foul on Ricky Madison.
Oh,
and Bailey Goodall, there's some afters here as well. Bailey Goodall was...
You say he does a bit of everything, but he's definitely got under the skin of...
Going into the team huddle that Solent were having, and Bailey Goodall getting right in the thick of it. As Ty Brown misses the first. Misses both. A chance for Solent, perhaps. 33.3 seconds remaining.
They're going to need a quick stop, quick score.
Yeah.
Score, quick stop, and another quick score here. It's been a chance of not letting this go into overtime.
A lot of time, 33.3 seconds remaining. Goodall bats the ball off Ricky Madison's knee, and it goes out of bounds, so Manchester will get the ball back with 11 on the shot clock.
Great defense by the two of them. They're not reaching in for that quick foul. I think that's
Both
smart by them.
Samuel nearly stepped out of bounds. Juliet Wall, and now Kai Walker with the foul, so the Magic will go to the foul line. As Kafel Juliet Wall, who's only shot 4 for 10 from the field tonight, but has dished out 6 assists in a fantastic performance from him. Rattles in the first.
Very strong free throw shoot, averaging about 88 from the line this season.
And Manchester 4 for 10 from the stripe tonight. But these 2 free throws could put the game beyond reach. Misses the second.
Need a quick one here.
Bassard, Bailey Goodall nearly stole it off him. Bassard a 3, short, Goodall rebounds. Gale has it. And a unsportsmanlike foul on Kai Walker. That's a 4th foul on Kai Walker.
Don't want to be the person to say it, but I think that might
be
it.
That might be it for him, yeah. It's a 4th foul, actually, yeah, on Kai Walker. But Andre Gale will go back to the foul line for the Magic. 10.5 seconds remaining, and like you said, Anna, I think that has iced it.
I think, especially with the new rule on the out-of-bounds foul, I think it now makes it really hard in situations like this for teams who can't just get a quick one for worry of either getting an unsportsmanlike or an out-of-bounds foul, which means 2 shots in possession.
Absolutely. And Ben Stanley, I think, was going to call a timeout, but instead has cancelled it with 10.5 remaining. And Manchester Magic have travelled a long way to the south coast, but they have finally got that elusive first win of the season. And they will just dribble the ball out. In fact, a foul has been called, so that's Justin Bassard's night done with 5.8 seconds remaining. And Kafel Juliet Wall will just put the icing on the cake from the line.
I think that's a really unfortunate way for the Kestrels to finish, especially with it being so close, but now having the chance to stretch that to an 11-point lead, the scoreboard doesn't really reflect the kind of game it's been. It's
been a fantastic game of basketball, decided, as you said, Anna, in the final couple of minutes. It was so close up until the final 2 minutes when Manchester just executed their offense more efficiently, and Solent were unable to really enforce anything on that. And a timeout called by Ben Stanley, kind of academic really. Manchester leading by 11 points. And Chris, an elusive first win has now been made, a reality, albeit 5.8 seconds remaining. But a deserved win for the Magic here tonight.
Definitely, and it's nice to get a win early on. As remember when they were last in D1 18-19 season, they went 2-12. So to get the win on the board early is really good. And I said at the start of the show, I'm not looking at 06 well as about poor. They played Newcastle, played Hemel, played Worthing, played Nottingham, played Derby, played TBC. Those are games that are going to be the top teams up there. So this is a real strong performance. And if they got Bradford, I believe, next week.
Yep.
And I think that one, if that to be a real test of whether they're a struggler or if they're challenged for an 8th spot.
Absolutely, and Andre Gale with 19 points to lead the way for the Magic. But really the unsung hero for tonight's game has got to be Bailey Goodall.
I think he's a great example of the Magic just wanting it more. I mean, I don't really want to say that about my home team, but I think it was obvious tonight. They were out there crashing the boards every time, diving on every loose ball, getting in every little bit of extracurricular you could want. I think it's just a case of them outworking the Kestrels tonight.
So final seconds here as Kai Walker puts in a 2, and Bailey Goodall should really just dribble the ball out, and the Manchester Magic will head up to the M6 tonight with their first win of the season. A fantastic performance, especially in the last 3 minutes, and they have defeated the Solent Kestrels here 85-76. Andre Gale leading all scorers with 19 points. And Justin Bassard also with 19 points as well for the Kestrels. But a great win for the Magic. Commiserations to the Solent Kestrels. It takes two teams to make a great game, and it's a great advert for National League basketball here tonight.
100%, and I think Anna summed it well. Magic just were a little bit more competitive in terms of really trying to get their hand on the game at both ends, especially that first quarter. Real great defensive intensity. Kestrels did have that little bit of period towards the end of the second and the start of the third, but Manchester well-deserved winners, and more to work on for Coach Stanley. It's been a tricky little start for 1-5 now. They've played teams on paper maybe should be beaten, so maybe a few alarm bells, but lots to work on.
Absolutely, and a great win for Manchester, and a great momentum builder for them, Anna.
Yeah, I think I've been on teams like that where you are bottom of the league, especially at a senior level, and I think for them that it's a great point of the year for them to kind of get over that slump. A nice run into Christmas for them will be a really good momentum builder for them after Christmas and starting it out strong in the new year.
Absolutely, and that ends our NBL Live coverage for today. The Manchester Magic come away with an 85-76 win over the Solent Kestrels. My thanks to Chris Hughes and Anna Neverson for joining me today. I'm John Hobbs. Have a great evening, everybody.